Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're unpacking something genuinely ambitious. We're looking at a complete operating system designed from the ground up for the African food economy. We're talking about Soupe. And look, this isn't just another startup pitching you a food delivery app. We've seen enough of those, right? No, this is a fundamental rewiring of how food is planned, financed, and actually moved across an entire continent. Let's get into it.
Let's start with a massive paradox, one that's honestly baffled economists for decades. Across Africa, literally millions of tons of perfectly good food are just wasted every single year. We're talking billions of dollars, just gone. But at the exact same time, hunger persists. So what's going on here? Well, it turns out the core issue isn't actually a lack of food production. It's a massive, systemic breakdown in coordination. Supply and demand are, quite literally, missing each other in the dark.
And that is exactly where Soupe steps in. They realized early on that Africa doesn't just need another digital marketplace. It needs entirely new infrastructure. So Soupe is building this incredible ecosystem that captures real-time data, sets up physical fulfillment nodes, and even integrates finance. They're connecting everyone from the local smallholder farmer straight to your dinner table. The goal here is making sure food moves intelligently rather than randomly.
So here's how we're going to map out this operating system today. First, we'll look at the core food coordination problem. 2, we'll check out the community commerce features that are live right now. 3, we'll see how they're fine-tuning smarter physical infrastructure. 4, we'll dive into the future vision with AI intelligence. And finally, number 5, how this all comes together into a massive food ecosystem flywheel.
All right, part 1, the food coordination problem. It's a systemic paradox.
Think about it. Food is the ultimate recurring market, right? We all buy it over and over again. Yet, the system behind it is completely fragmented. Just imagine a farmer harvesting a great crop, only to literally watch it rot because they couldn't find a buyer in time. All while a school, maybe just down the road, is drastically overpaying for those exact same ingredients. It's crazy. Soupe completely flips this script. Instead of producing first and just crossing their fingers for buyers later, they actually establish the demand before the supply chain even activates.
Moving on to part 2, live now with community commerce. This is all about digitizing African cultural behaviors.
So, looking at what's live on the platform right now, one of their absolute most powerful features is the Buy For Me diaspora infrastructure. For generations, Africans abroad have sent cash back home. But cash is tricky. It's unpredictable, inflation totally eats it up, and honestly, you never really know if it went efficiently toward groceries. Soupe shifts this dynamic entirely to a food-first approach. You can literally just sponsor an invoice or buy food directly for your family back home. It gives you total transparency and completely removes the guesswork.
And then there's collaborative commerce. Now, long before e-commerce was even a thing, communities were already buying food together. Families, church groups, neighborhood associations, they'd pool their money to buy in bulk. What Soupe did was brilliantly digitize this ancient habit. Right now, as we speak, communities are actively pooling resources on the platform to unlock bulk wholesale pricing. This is slashing logistics and product costs in a way no single buyer ever could on their own.
And they didn't stop at groceries. They are even digitizing one of the continent's most valuable, but let's face it, highly complex asset classes, livestock. Forget about chaotic, offline haggling. Buyers can now search through verifiable, highly detailed digital profiles for cattle or poultry. We're talking data points like breed, age, weight, full health records, and exact valuation. It brings this incredible level of transparency to a super fragmented market. It makes it totally safe to source just a single goat for your family or an entire herd for a massive community event.
Which brings us to part 3, fine-tuning smarter infrastructure, bridging digital demand with physical fulfillment. So to support massive institutional-scale procurement, FoSOUPed is fine-tuning this really incredible tool, the meal calculator. Imagine you're catering for, say, 1,000 university students. Traditionally, planners just kind of guess, which obviously leads to massive waste or, even worse, embarrassing shortages. But this engine changes the game. It analyzes the event size, instantly calculates the exact volume of raw ingredients you need, compares real-time market prices, and spits out an estimated cost. It literally removes all the guesswork for these massive events.
But hey, a digital app can't physically feed you, right? You need infrastructure. That's why Soupe is actively fine-tuning localized consumer experience centers, or CEGESs for short. Think of these as physical hubs optimized for a really specific 3-step dance. Step 1, aggregating produce from farmers. Step 2, fulfilling those pre-orders. And Step 3, managing the local pickups. By perfecting this physical flow, they are drastically reducing the friction of pre-ordering and seamlessly bridging that gap between the digital demand and the physical food.
All right, part 4, future vision, using AI intelligence to end the gamble of agriculture. To really grasp this future vision, we've got to look at the farmer's biggest enemy, which is speculative farming. It's basically this heartbreaking gamble of producing food, planting seeds, and working the earth for months without actually knowing if a buyer even exists. So Soupe's ultimate endgame is to take all this ecosystem data, from their live commerce, the meal calculators, the physical CEC hubs, and feed it into predictive AI. The idea is that soon, this AI will accurately forecast regional demand, telling farmers exactly what the market is going to buy before a single seed even touches the soil.
There's a quote that really hits the nail on the head here. Farmers do not need more buyers alone. Farmers need better commercialization infrastructure. And that's so true. When you use AI to give a farmer a guaranteed steady market, their risk just plummets. And when risk drops, suddenly they become finance ready. Banks can confidently step in with loans for better equipment. It transforms farming from this daily struggle for survival into a thriving, totally predictable business.
Finally, Part 5, the Food Ecosystem Flywheel, a self-sustaining operating system. When you pull back and look at the whole shebang, you realize Soupe is doing way more than just selling groceries. They are building this highly diversified revenue engine. Just look at how it feeds itself. The collaborative commerce drives up the order sizes. That steady, predictable demand gives farmers the confidence to supply the physical hubs. Every single transaction generates rich data which sharpens the AI. Smarter AI then unlocks better financing and more software subscriptions. Every single participant is making the entire system smarter, faster, and honestly incredibly defensible. I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. If technology can coordinate the world's information, and if we figured out how to digitize global finance, why on earth can't it coordinate the world's food? Soupe is actively proving that by respecting deep cultural habits and leveraging smart data, we can finally rewire how a whole continent feeds itself. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning the systems around you, and I will catch you in the next one.